Well, the U.S. District Court for the Southern District of New York ruled that Brian Flores, Steve Wilks, and Ray Horton's ongoing discrimination case against the NFL will proceed in open court. 4 years ago, Flores sued the NFL, alleging the league was rife with racism as it pertained to its hiring practices for coaches. Wilks and Horton joined the lawsuit after Flores' initial lawsuit. The ruling means that the Flores claims against the NFL, the Dolphins, the Giants, the Broncos, and the Texans will be litigated in court rather than arbitrated. It also applies to the claims made by Steve Wilks against the Cardinals and by Ray Horton against the Titans. The NFL sought to move the case to private arbitration, which would have had the commissioner, Roger Goodell, serve as the arbitrator. But this year, there were 10 head coach vacancies in the NFL, yet no black coach was hired. And last week, before the Super Bowl, NFL Commissioner Roger Goodell addressed the lack of diversity in this year's head coach hiring cycle.
I remember talking in your office back in 2019, and you had said that the league is always going to look at different things about hiring. Well, since then, you guys have expanded the Rooney rule. You have put in a mandate to try to address the offensive side of the ball with the coaching fellowship program. And you also put candidates in front of the decision makers. But everybody knows that this cycle, over 10 for black coaches, 1 for 9 for coaches of color. So should you just be resigned to the fact now that basically nothing you do can move the numbers between 3 to 7 on coaches and 3 to 7 on general managers, those historic numbers that we've seen?
You know me too well to say I'm resigned to something where I think we need to continue to make progress. And I believe that. I believe diversity is good for us. I think we have become a more diverse league across every platform, including coaching. But we still have more work to do. There's got to be more steps. So we're reevaluating everything we're doing, including our accelerated program, including every aspect of our policies and our programs, to meet the challenges of today and tomorrow rather than yesterday. So we need to be looking at that and sort of say, okay, why did we have the results this year? What is it that we can be doing in training or education, and that goes for not just the candidates, but also the clubs, and how we can try to continue to increase the opportunities and the outcomes ultimately.
How bothered are you by the public perception that teams interview black candidates just to satisfy the Rooney rule and not with no intention of hiring them? And then the second part of that would be, who do you think was the most important African American in the history of the NFL? This being Black History Month.
There's a lot in that category, and I think I would probably dispute your context of the question. I think the Rooney Rule has been seen as a positive by our clubs by giving them an opportunity to look at a diverse set of candidates. They make the choice ultimately, but I think it's shown them the value of that, to look at talent where you might not know it or you may not see it. We're in a competitive league. People are challenged, and we have 10 openings this year. Teams are trying to get the coach that they think can win. So I think taking the time pressure off of that is one of the things we focused on as a league in the policy, to give them that time so that they can make a really good decision that they make independently, but a decision that is based on being able to look at a diverse slate of candidates. And I think that only benefits the NFL. And the Rooney Rule, I think, has done that not just in the NFL, but I think across industries on a global basis.
I'm so interested to hear what the panel has to say about this tonight. Matt, we'll begin with you. This year, there were 10 head coach vacancies. Not a single black coach was hired. How does this happen in a league that's majority black on the field?
Because they think we're stupid. They think we're stupid and our eyes aren't open. You know, what I really would like to focus on, if you'd allow me, though, Brittany, is the enormity of this ruling. Because what people may not know out there is that arbitration is basically a private court process. But what I didn't even know until preparing is that apparently the NFL Constitution allows Roger Goodell to be the one who rules on certain issues or farm them out to an arbitration. As a lawyer, I hate arbitration because I feel like it does not give my clients the same opportunity that they would have in front of 12 citizens in open court. But most of the time that you sign an agreement, you download something from Apple or some other big company, they almost invariably have an arbitration clause in there. And the idea is to not have litigation every time somebody has an issue. You have to go through this private process. So I'm glad the Second Court of Appeals made the right decision and that the district court today followed that same logic, because this allows the issues to come to the light of day and allows the NFL to not, cover them up by letting Roger Goodell call the balls and strikes, so to speak, on malfeasance, on misdoing, wrongdoing. So this is a really, really big deal. And I don't know how it works on the federal level, but under Texas law, at least, an arbitration clause is not enforceable if it's against public policy. The reason I think this is huge in this instance is because all these employees of the NFL, all of the players, all of the people who are tangentially, this could hopefully allow them to have more meaningful justice when they have bona fide claims that aren't going to get swept under the rug because the NFL gets to basically police itself. That's the functional outcome of this. So I think this is really an enormous ruling, and hopefully you see this cascade into other areas where arbitration clauses would otherwise be foreclosing justice.
Candace, what kind of evidence do you think may come out of discovery now that this is headed to court?
Well, listen, I think that's one of the most important things about this case is the case filing itself, where you can read all of the evidence that was filed by Flores' attorney, and he doesn't use a lot of legalese. He uses a lot of history of the football league, of blacks in the league, racial discrimination, and it's written in a way that really almost anybody can understand. And it's very, very important, I think, for a lot of people to look at that. So a lot of the evidence is in the filing, in the lawsuit in and of itself. What we heard in that soundbite was just a lot of waffling babble talk. I mean, he's asking questions that they've been asking since, 1920 when the NFL was founded. What are we going to do? We're trying to figure out how to make things better. I think that the Rooney Rule works. No, it doesn't. What are they going to do? They've been asking that forever, and they seem to not have any answers. The other thing is that when we look at this violation of civil rights and discrimination cases, even on a state level, there are ways for the attorney general to jump in and say, hey, you know what? There's a problem here, and we're going to do something on the state level. No one's doing anything. The only one that's doing anything is Brian Flores. And the what has happened now in terms of moving the needle, this is big. This is huge precedent. And why would he want to go in front of arbitration? Like Matt said, why would you want the person who you are really suing, a representative thereof, deciding your case? That makes absolutely no sense. And I see exactly why they decided what they did. Brian Flores has a very good chance of winning because, as you mentioned, there were 10 spots open. They didn't get them. And since, again, 1920, we haven't seen these numbers move almost at all. So it would be a very interesting case to look at and follow.
Michael, if the NFL loses this case, what should real consequences look like?
Well, hopefully they will lose the case, and I'm going to answer 3 questions here. Now, I'll preface my comments with this caveat. I haven't watched the NFL game since Colin Kaepernick left the league, was blackballed from the league, and I ain't watched the Super Bowl either. Okay, so I'm in the same boat with my friend and fellow historian, Dr. Greg Carr. But hopefully they do lose, and this is exposing the racism in the league. And as Matt said, usually under arbitration, Roger Goodell, the league commissioner, who works for the team owners, okay, he usually oversees arbitration. So with this going to court, this is a whole new ball game, hopefully. And this goes once again to the racism that we see in the NFL. And the reason why you have 10 open spots and you don't, African-American coaches haven't gotten any of them is because the overwhelming majority of the team owners are white. And you're still dealing with a plantation system. The NFL players, 53% to 67% African-American, depending upon the season. So this is good news. I followed this case a few years ago, going back to 2023. I think Brian Flores has a good case, and this is really exposing, once again, the NFL. And going to that question of the most important black quarterback, or however he phrased it. Could be Doug Williams, who was the first African-American quarterback to lead a team to the Super Bowl in 1988, the Washington Redskins. But it could be Colin Kaepernick, because Colin Kaepernick led a movement by taking a knee. Unfortunately, a lot of people stabbed him in the back and didn't back him up. Okay, because that really could have manifested into something larger. At some point, Black people have to realize that we can't be distracted by entertainment. Okay, and we give up being empowered because we want to be entertained. Okay, so at some point we have to learn that we have to withdraw economically from things like the NFL. Stop watching the game, stop purchasing the jerseys, stop going to the game, stop financing this plantation system. Hopefully we'll wake up very quickly.
Well, we have plenty of news on the other side of the break. Stay with us. Roland Martin Unfiltered will be right back. You're watching the Black Star Network.
Visit my website, AfricanHistoryNetwork.com, AfricanHistoryNetwork.com. You can register for this new 10-week online course. So we're going to teach this on Sundays, normally 4 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. We're running late today. So as soon as I finish this broadcast, I was going to start the class about 5:30 p.m. today. Because it's a holiday weekend, I'm going to do a quick introduction to the class so you could join us for that. The class is on sale, $80. You get 5 of my lectures free in digital download format, okay, when you register for this as well. Click right here, register here. You can do debit card, credit card, what have you. If you want to do it through Cash App, send it through our Cash App is here, $ the AHN show through Cash App. You click on the link. It takes you here. And if you send it through Cash App, follow it up with an email. You can email me through the website right here, contact the African History Network at the top. If you send it through Cash App, follow up with an email, let me know you sent the registration through Cash App. And this is our official Cash App account, $ the AHN show, SHOW. When you go to it, it'll say Michael. These are some fake African History Network Cash App accounts that have been stealing money from us. I'm still trying to get them shut down. Here's our PayPal link right here also. Okay. So this is African empires, the Moors, and the transatlantic slave trade, 5000 BC to 1800 AD. Okay. So this is a new 10-week online course that I'm teaching. I've been teaching online history classes going back to 2017. And, I put these classes together, put together the curriculum. There are about 200 slides in this class, 80 to 100 articles that we reference, 15 books. You don't have to buy any of the books. I'll show you screenshots of the book as well. The content is PG-13. You can use this with your children, okay? And it's very engaging. It is interactive also. There's a class chat, so you can ask me questions in the class also. You can see me, I can't see you.